Sands is a proud sponsor of the Long Island Tea Podcast.
With incomparable luxury, Sands leaves nothing to the imagination. To learn more, visit sandsnewyork.com.
We are the Long Island Tea, where we spill the tea.
It's true. We're from Long Island, so we say, how you doing? How you doing?
I don't.
We're in the middle of the vines.
Yes.
Because it's Memorial Weekend. So
It's
there's
kickoff. We're here. It's summertime. Long Island wine of the week.
I'm thankful for our hot teas.
Yes. That's like such a Long Island thing.
We're just talking about real life.
Right.
That's what we do. Welcome back to another episode of Long Island Tea, where we spill the tea on living your best Long Island life. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Sharon. Welcome back.
Yeah, we took a week off. Well, we didn't really take a week off. We took a week off from the pod because
Right,
we were running
exactly.
around like crazy people. So it's good to be back, but just like buckle up for this episode because we have a jam-packed episode.
We do.
I mean,
I feel like it is like that. You know, every episode we're like spilling so much tea.
I know, but girl, this episode, Alyssa and Michael have us like loaded up with. We've got chocolates and drinks and events. I mean, it's crazy. We're gonna get to it. But first of all, we have to start every episode with how you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm dead. It's good. It's a Halloween season, and I am just dead.
Yes.
I mean, I am literally R.I.P. me. Okay, because I'm done.
Yeah.
It's just been too crazy busy.
Yeah.
And it's so nuts. Is it always? Do I say this every October?
I feel like, yeah.
It's like I'm starting like
no,
deja vu.
no. We were talking about it the other day. You literally
It's been crazy.
garnered a lot more things on your plate.
I mean, when I was
This year.
here, I don't even remember the last episode we did. Had I been to Lake Placid? Yeah, I came back, right? Because we went to Adventureland. Lake Placid, Montauk, we did Adventureland. And then immediately then I went to, and then Kinsey was in town.
Right.
That's what happened. Oh, and then you know what we did that night? Was it that night? Maybe the next night. We went to Carnival. And I forget, it was delicious.
Okay.
And then the next night we went to Blaze.
Yes,
Pumpkin.
love that.
I had never been there. This is the third year I think they're on Long Island.
Right.
And in Old Bethpage.
Oh, spooky.
And I had never been. So I finally got to get my Blaze on while Kinsey and Tegan were here. And they were amazing. It was amazing.
I love that.
It was really cool.
Yeah. It is awesome, and they change it up a little bit every year. They add more, take
and
some stuff
we were
away.
all impressed. And they have certain times that you go in, so it's very like crowd controlled.
Yeah, I love that because then you really want to see the intricacy of the carved pumpkins. Like,
it was great, and I would say for all ages because there were some cute, like they have these little pumpkins that look like minions.
did they have a Barbie one this year?
No, I don't think so. No, but they had the minions, and they have all these different displays. There's like butterflies and spiders, and I mean the creativity.
And they
is
did
amazing,
awesome job with Bones Beach, where they had the Jones Beach
and the
boat.
Statue of Liberty, and I mean honestly, that you walk through all of these different scenes. I was so impressed.
I think this year was like a carnival scene too.
Yes,
new. Yeah.
yes. It was, and they have like the Hall of Fame. There was like, did you see my Billy Joel one?
Yes,
it was hilarious.
Dee Snider.
On Dee Snider. I mean, it was amazing. So there's fun stuff for the kids, and then there's a couple, like you walk by the mansion that's kind of haunted, but it's not too scary,
Right.
But it's interesting enough for older kids and parents.
Right.
I really was impressed with it.
I know. I've been watching I saw your social, and like I need to go.
It was really cool. I highly recommend. It was awesome. And then the next day we went out to the North Fork. I was like, or maybe it was Columbus Day. Columbus Day we went out to the North Fork to do our like fall. You know, I got some
your mums.
I got the most giant mums. No, and I know what you're going to ask. Did I dip them in a spackle bucket? I have not. First of all, they weigh, just getting them into my car.
Right. 100 pounds.
I went
but,
crazy.
I mean, they're cheap out there.
No, well, they are cheap out there, but
For
not
that
the ones
size?
I got. I guess that, I mean, I didn't think they were crazy expensive. I mean, they were like $25 each.
Yeah, I don't think that's expensive.
For as big as they are,
Right,
I can barely lift
exactly.
them in my car. But you know how it is when you go to the Christmas tree lot and you like Griswold it and you get the tree that doesn't fit in the house.
Yes.
You have to like cut. That's what I do with the mums.
Yeah, I do that too.
Because when they're amongst all the other moms, I'm like, ooh, let's get the biggest one.
Right.
And then you take it to the port, like this.
And then you're
you can't
driving
even
home and there's
walk.
like bees flying around in your car. You're like,
I put them on my front porch steps, and now you can pretty much not get into my house.
my gosh,
they're like
that's
blocking the
so
entrance to my
funny.
house. But they're beautiful, and they do have smaller ones that are definitely much more manageable.
Right.
But I got my mums, and we decorated the porch. We flipped the porch, put a picture
skeletons
of it.
out.
Yep, skeletons out. Talks to us every day. Love that guy.
It's funny.
And it's on. We put a picture of it on our Instagram.
Right.
And I think our new TikTok, by the way. Our new TikTok channel.
I know.
Is so awesome.
So Long Island Tea.
So it's on there. I can't remember where all the places. Maybe it was Twitter or whatever it's called now, X. But wherever Michael he put my porch out there. And we got all the pictures of people's porches.
Yeah, that was so cool.
And we did a giveaway to Blaze.
Yes.
So our hot teas could go to Blaze. We had some amazing porch and decor pictures. But we want to say congratulations to Dr. Kelly Dwyer, who was our winner.
Congratulations. And thank you to Caitlin, Alyssa, Christine, Kimberly, Elsa, Alexandra, Gian, Megan, Stephanie, Molly.
Oh, what is this one? Laz, Iris, I can't read this. Tamara, Jennifer, Marissa, Deanna, a million people. Renee, Cheyenne, Claire, Megan, Reg, Sandy, Laura, Karen. We had so many entries. It was awesome.
And there's so more too.
I love seeing it. I love seeing your feedback.
I love it.
It's so fun.
It's so funny. So I went to this birthday party over the weekend, and I've seen this person at this birthday party every year, and like I just didn't put two and two together. And she's like, "And what do you do again?" And I was telling her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I follow you. I actually just won one of your giveaways." I'm like, "That's so funny."
I love our giveaways. And we're doing another one today. We'll tell you about later. But and then the other thing we did when Kinsey was home with Deegan, we had such a fun family weekend. We did, like I said, Blaze, and then we did the North Fork, which we've got our cider donuts, and we went
kept
to
the bag open, right?
Oh my God, here we go. And it was nice and busy, but not crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And went to Tanger Outlets.
Oh,
we did a little shopping.
Did you do the food festival?
No, that was the Deer Park one. We went to the Riverhead Tanger Outlets because it's right by the North Fork. It's like 5 minutes away. It's awesome. And it was really great because I got a lot of Christmas ideas from the girls, which is awesome.
Good.
I'm in that stage of life right now, or of the year, I should say, where anything that they need, put it on your list.
Becomes a Christmas list. Yeah.
Put it on your Christmas list. Because now we're in October. At the end of October, it's November. Don't ask me. It's like that you need toothpaste. Put it on your list. You know what I mean? Anything, like, don't ask me for anything. And they're like, but I need it before Christmas. I need these shoes. Nope. On your list.
Yes.
Because what happens then? You get to Christmas, and they're like, everybody's asking, what do the kids want?
Yeah.
And they can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Because they get it all. Like 2 weeks, I'm like,
I know.
I will buy you. I'm buying you nothing.
Right.
Don't put anything in the Amazon cart. Nothing.
Right.
On your list. So that was fun at the outlets. Also, what happened since our last episode? Someone won the Powerball.
Multiple people, right?
All I know it wasn't us.
Right. But I think like 5 tickets of like thousands of dollars were sold on Long Island.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Was it you?
No.
Any of those?
Damn.
I didn't win anything.
We missed out.
Nothing. So I'm trying to not to be too bitter about that. And then immediately I actually ended up sharing a car with Kinsey to the airport at 5 a.m. on the day after Columbus Day I went to a conference and she went back to school.
Well, super smart to go around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I booked it. I told her, I'm like, girl, this is what love looks like, because instead of taking a direct flight to Little Rock, Arkansas, I left at 5 a.m. to be able to get to the airport with her. And I was like, normally I would be in the clear line,
right?
Which she's not clear. So yes, I will wait. I mean, she's still TSA pre-check, thank God. But you got to draw a line somewhere. Okay. So we did TSA pre-check. I'm like, I'm waiting in this line with you, and I'm taking a connection. I'll take a connecting flight. That's love.
That's love.
And she's like, I can understand. She was totally like, I see it. 100%.
Good.
So that's been fun. But I came back from Little Rock. I literally flew back on a 6 a.m. flight. And you should have seen me because when Ed and I were there together at a conference for advocacy, and we both put the flight on, took the same flight. I think we left at 5 a.m. for a 6 a.m. flight. And we were landing and going straight to the Long Island Association David Beckham luncheon.
Right.
So I'm wearing like this navy blue dress with my red stiletto heels and my little red belt in Arkansas at 5 a.m. One of these things was like, one of these things. What did she
Situational
say?
awareness.
I'm not. You don't blend. She said in My Cousin Vinny. You
funny.
blend.
That's funny.
I was like, one of these things, not like the others. So,
Yeah.
and then the Oyster Fest.
Right. It's crazy.
And then this week,
And this week, I feel like we haven't stopped. I haven't left your office today. It's just, it's crazy. And we're having like such a fun committee event tonight.
I'm excited.
With the staff.
Yeah.
We're going on a sunset hayride.
Yes.
And some pumpkin picking.
And Yapank.
And Yapank, you said it correctly.
Notice my pronunciation. I did not say Yapank.
Yep.
It was hard. We're going to Yapank, and we're doing a little wagon ride through the sunflowers, and we're picking pumpkins.
I love it. I can't wait.
I know Alyssa looks so cute. She's got her like red and black flannel.
I know.
Like,
Michael's got a flannel on.
You got the- I know.
I didn't wear my flannel.
No, you've got your Long Island wardrobe of leopard.
I got my
so
leopard.
You're representing. Chris has his hoodie on. He's
His
on
DLI.
brand. He's on brand. But we have so much fun stuff going on. So what? So
Oh, you know what?
What?
Before we've been nominated for Best of Long Island.
Okay. Tell me more.
Okay. So 2 categories, actually. For Schnepp's Media, Best of Long Island. For the Long Island Tea Podcast, Best Podcast.
Oh my God, really?
Hello.
Okay, so we've been nominated. I wonder who nominated us.
I don't know.
Our hot teas, obviously.
Yeah, love it. And then also Discover Long Island for Best Web Digital Services. And the voting is every day until December 5th when they announce the winner.
Okay, how do they vote?
So you go to www.bestoflongisland.com and then search in category. So
Okay. And
podcast.
And what is the other one? Digital services? Digital.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. You guys got to vote for us. You can vote what, every day?
Every day.
Can you really? Oh my God, I got to get on there and vote. If we don't win Best Long Island Podcast, I'm going to lose it.
I know. Same, actually.
Hot teas. You got to get on
Please
it.
rally.
I know. You got to get on that. Please help us. But it was so funny. Like when we were at the Oyster Fest, we had people going like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to listen to you." Remember that guy? That was like, we were like, "Big Mike."
Big Mike, what's up? He's a new follower.
I know. He's
love
like,
it.
"I'm going to be a hot tea."
Yeah, he
And
was,
we're like,
he was
okay,
awesome.
all right. But it was so fun to go and meet people. But when I was traveling, I was in Arkansas, and I got to go to the Clinton Library, the Clinton Presidential Library.
Okay.
It was really cool.
All right.
And got to tour the personal residences of the Clintons, which is above the library.
Wow.
I know.
That's
It was a very
interesting.
VIP behind the scenes. Only the board
Only
got
a
to go
select
tour.
few. I love it.
Yes, it was cool.
That is cool.
I'm not, we travel all the time, and I'm not usually that like wowed by something. But I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. When I was in Dallas for a DI, I wanted to go to the JFK Museum.
Yeah.
And I didn't because it was closed on Tuesday. It's like the only day I had free.
I know. I heard they had a purse museum there too, but I didn't make it.
What?
I know. I didn't go. I know. I was bummed. But so many things were happening while I was gone because, when you're traveling, what people don't realize is you're missing things of your family. So one of the things that was really funny that I thought I would share with the hot teas, and we have a family chat. Our family
Group
does.
chat, yeah.
And even Penelope in Chicago and Kenzie knows, everybody's on it. And it's just hilarious, like things that happen in our day.
Yeah.
And Thomas put a picture on the family chat while I was in Arkansas. And he's like, "We got this really weird package from China today." I'm like, and it's all in Chinese. And it's like a little envelope. And we're like, "Oh my God." And it's like from Mr. Chu. I'm not even lying. CHU. Mr. Chu. We're like, what is Mr. Chu sending? And then he's like, but it's from 8 years ago.
What?
So it actually went to the previous owners, I guess. But we didn't know. Like,
So
it's
it was
all in
post. It
Chinese.
was like dated 8
yeah,
years
it was
ago.
dated from 2015
What?
to our house. So Tegan was still at school and everybody's like at college. And so Thomas is like, "What do you think it is?" And Tegan's like, "Definitely drugs. Wait till I get home to open it." Like, don't open it till I get home.
Oh my
And he's
gosh.
like, "I'm going to have Finnegan open it in the yard because we don't know what it is." Right. So he's like, okay. So then it's like, okay, everyone's texting. "Did you open it yet? What's happening?" So he's like, okay. So he posts a video. Finnegan's in the yard with a knife. Like, we make Finnegan do everything. Like, Finnegan killed the
Finn.
spider. Finnegan opened the weird package from China. Like, what's going on? So Finnegan opens it. And it was like the suspense was killing me. Everyone, like, we're all watching it, like, from around the country. And it was just this really weird random package of balloons. It had a big giant clown on it. And it was just balloons, I guess. And Tegan has this whole thing. It's probably for their going away party when they moved, because that's pretty much when we bought the house.
Oh, funny.
And they just never made it.
Right.
So
That's
I told her, I'm
funny.
like, Tegan, there's still hope for that Sheen dress that you never got from however long ago.
Yeah.
It'll show up in 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
But isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So that was just a fun little random thing that happened while we were traveling.
You should totally like blow them up for your Halloween.
I'm not touching those.
No.
Those 8-year-old balloons.
I just don't understand why they didn't. I don't know.
I don't know where they were.
Like,
I don't know where they were, but I thought that was really, we were like, seriously, what's in that package?
Yeah, it could be anything.
And then the other story that happened before we get to our taste of Long Island, which I'm really excited about, Sharon, I kind of told you the story, but so, when you're traveling and everything is happening, you're trying to stay on top of work and what's happening at the conference. And it was at the last day. I think it was the last day I was going to be there. I had gone to bed around midnight, plugged my phone in, and I woke up, I want to say at like 6 a.m. And I leaned over to tap my phone to see what time it was. And my phone was like dead, completely dead. So I'm like, oh my God. Like it didn't charge. So I figured my
Thank
cord.
God you woke up.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Well, I'm never sleep, So
Yeah.
I was like looking at my phone cord, then I'm up and I'm like, my phone cord is dead. I'm plugging my phone cord in a million different places and I can't tell, like, it's just nothing's happening. But it's kind of warm. It's kind of hot. I'm like, what? So thankfully, I don't know. When your phone dies, especially when you're on the road, it's like you just shut down. I think mentally, I have no idea what to do.
Right.
I can't do anything.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I can't get home. It's dead. So I'm thinking a cord. I need a new cord.
Right.
So my first thing is luckily my watch has service of its own. So I'm on my watch and I'm like, the last person I texted was our friend David Holder because we had gone to dinner that night before. So, and he was at the conference. So I'm like, hey, can you bring a phone cord by my room? I'm like, I'm in room 429. And I'm trying to type all this out or like do it on the, voice.
Voiceover, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I'm actually out for a run right now. So it'll be like half an hour. I'm like, so I'm like immediately annoyed because the store isn't open yet of the hotel. So I'm like, okay, sure. And in the meantime, I'm freaking out. And I had seen this news report like 2 weeks ago. Okay. That the new way people are hacking people they're going to like Verizon and T-Mobile and they're like acting like they're you and they're getting new phones under your account and they're getting like a SIM card. So I start to go down, like I start to spiral mentally.
6 a.m.
While I'm waiting for my friend David to come drop me a cord. And so I'm like, the only app that works on my phone, on my watch, is my Starbucks app. And I happen to know that I had like $53 on my Starbucks. So I look at my Starbucks app, 0. I'm like, my bank accounts are all drained. My Starbucks, I'm literally, this is where I'm at mentally. I don't know how I'm going to live. I don't know how I'm going to get on a plane. I have no boarding pass. I have nothing. So I go to my computer. I can't access my bank accounts because I don't know my password.
Right.
My password is like whatever
Auto
it is.
saved, yeah.
So I call Thomas. Okay. And it's 7 a.m. I'm like,
from your watch.
from my watch. And I'm like, my phone has been hacked. My bank accounts are being drained as we speak, somewhere between midnight and 6 a.m. And he's like, good morning. What are you saying? What is happening with you? I'm like, I don't have a phone cord. David's trying to go. Oh, this whole thing. And he's like, I said, so can you just get into my bank account real quick? And I need you to just make sure that my bank accounts are not being drained. And he's like, sure. What's your password? I'm like, can you just figure that out? Please. Can you figure that out in some way? I don't know my password and I cannot do it. And he was like, well, he goes, maybe have you tried to hard restart your phone? And I'm like, my phone could not be, it's dead as a doornail. It's literally a brick, okay? You don't understand. Someone has taken the SIM card out of it. Is what I'm telling him. And he's like, okay, well, what level of phone do you have again? Is it which 14? And I'm like,
say phone one more time.
I was like, stop focusing on the phone and get into my bank account. You are focusing. You need to hack into my bank account right now. I'm like,
because it's immediately his fault.
Yes. I'm like, stop. If you say phone one more time, I'm going to lose my mind because you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Oh my God.
I could not. He goes, okay. And then he is like doing his Google thing. And he goes, can I just ask you to do one thing without you getting too upset? Okay.
So please don't get mad.
He's like, don't get upset, but just try this, please. I'm like, I was so angry. I was angry, like level 10.
Level 10.
He's like, hit the up on the volume, hit up, down quickly. And then on the other one, on the other side, click it and just hold it. And I'm like, and I did it real quick. He's like, no. Let's up, down, and then hold it and keep holding. I'm like, I just did this. Allow me to do it again. And I do it again, and I'm holding it, and I'm like, again, while I'm holding it, can just get it. The little apple comes up.
Starts back up. Hello, Apple.
I'm like, oh my God, you're so amazing.
What are you having for breakfast?
It's totally like, you're a genius.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you are, and it starts up, and it was fully charged. Something just happened. I don't know. Of course, while I'm traveling, on the last
just
day,
had
and
like a weird shutdown.
And I have no other phone cords, and I have no other access to the world. And I'm like, and it just starts, and everything was back to normal. And my bank account was there, and because he was like, you're putting all of this whole theory on your Starbucks app on your watch.
Yes.
And my $53 was in there.
Yeah.
So then I text David, and I'm like, I don't need your phone card anymore. I'm so sorry. Don't bother. And he's like, by the way, I just scared the bejesus out of somebody in room 429, which is apparently not your room. And I'm like, what? Because it's still like 7 a.m. my time. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, no. I opened my door, and I was like, he was already gone. I don't know where he was, but it was like 4:28. I'm like, sorry. I was literally just terrorizing strangers.
Everyone.
In the hotel. He's like, I literally knocked on someone's door. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, 7
and he's probably like a sweaty mess, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
here's your phone cord.
Here's a cord.
No, the person's looking at it. He's like, these eyes pop out around. And then I'm telling the story later to the group. I'm like, $53. It wasn't there. And he's like, you have $53
In
on your
Starbucks?
Starbucks? And I'm like, yeah. Don't you? I'm like, I mean, I'm like, you're dwelling on the wrong thing. You too. Anyway, it's just, I had to say, thank goodness I'm married to like the most patient, smart person on the planet, because I was melting
I know.
down.
And immediately when you're like that, it is everyone's fault. And that's what is cracking me up about it. When you told me the story, I was crying with laughter because I'm like, of course it's David's fault that your cord doesn't work. He's got to bring you one.
Yeah. And then I give him the wrong room.
And then he's like out for a run, and you're like, no worries. Okay, you're right.
Yeah. I was like, you're running.
Run back to your hotel room and get me a cord.
I know. He is also the sweetest person.
I know.
So after that, I feel like I need a cocktail, and we have some
such
really
a
cool
good taste of Long Island. First of all, Disset Chocolate's Halloween version. I love it.
I love Disset Chocolates, and you've got these really cool. It comes with these cat eyes. This little Halloween display.
This is so cute. This is what makes them most popular, I believe.
Yeah, we've talked about them on Valentine's, but surprisingly enough, their one for Halloween is actually their most popular. They have Franken cider caramel with graham crust.
What?
This cute little sour ghost with
super sour lemon.
I'm gonna totally have that in a minute. Brains enrobed, which is it's hilarious. It's like a walnut that looks like brains.
Oh my God, it is so funny.
So creative.
Plums on fire with spicy plum, and then the dark heartbeat, black sesame, and strawberry.
Oh my God, I don't know which one I want. I want all of them.
I know. This makes a great party favor or host gift for somebody, for the adults to enjoy while kids trick or treat.
That is the most brilliant thing, is to just get this and bring it instead of, so the kids are all going to be eating candy.
Right.
You can have like sophisticated, amazing,
and delicious. Yes. So order them at DissetChocolateOnline.com, and that'll be in the notes. So you can spell it out.
Love you, Disset. Thank you so much. Okay, but we also have a special Halloween cocktail that you can make for your guests. But Sharon, I don't know anything about this. Alyssa put this together. Alyssa, this isn't got Alyssa written all over it.
All over it. She's so adorable. She did the sugar rim with cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah.
And then she told me how to make it. She said,
what is this?
Yeah,
So this is just cinnamon sugar.
Wait, what are you saying, Alyssa?
Put the apples and oranges in the glass. Normally, you'd put it in a pitcher.
Oh, you normally put this in a pitcher, but we're just going to do it in a glass. So these are like what? They're apples and oranges that are cut up, and are they marinated or something?
In cinnamon sugar.
They're like soaked in cinnamon and sugar. And so, I mean, those smell already. Those smell amazing. No, I'm good. I got to save room for the actual beverage.
I know.
And then what's the rim? Is it just cinnamon and sugar rim?
Mm-hmm.
And
or
so
you can use colored sugar, like if they have like the orange sugar or the purple sugar.
Hold on. And then you got to add ginger ale
So we're pouring red wine over it. What kind of red wine is this?
This is Pindar. The Cab Sauvignon.
Oh, the Cab. Okay, perfect. And so you just put red wine over this. So it's like a sangria.
Yeah.
It's like a Halloween sangria. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that. And then ginger ale.
Or you can use apple cider.
Oh, or apple cider. That's so cute. Oh, it's very festive because it's fizzy. All right, ready? Cheers, and thank you so much. Let's celebrate Halloween. Are you doing anything great for Halloween? I mean, it's on a Tuesday.
No, I told you about that's delicious.
Yeah, this is amazing.
This is amazing.
You told me about your costume.
Yeah, it's a big inflatable costume. I love it. I'm super excited. No, we just do trick or treating. My little town does like they call it the Ragamuffin Parade. So they start at one. They start in the village and then they walk up to the local park. It's adorable.
All right, Sharon, we have a very special guest on the pod today, Josie Leader.
Her name is Weird History Gal on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm super excited to talk to her.
And Josie, welcome to Long Island Tea.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here talking to you guys.
Yay. And so what made you start to, love and dig into the weird history?
I have been obsessed with researching urban legends and haunted places. It's one of my earliest memories of being on the computer, finding websites that talked all about Long Island's like haunted places, and the urban legends, and just being so fascinated by them. So as a kid, I wasn't going out and exploring these places. It's kind of few and far between that I actually go to these places, but I have been to some of them now. So I've always been intrigued by things like that. And then as I got older, I actually did start writing fiction. As a kid, I would write like short stories, but then as I got a little older, it became a more serious thing. So I especially love to research those things as time went on because it would give me ideas for writing. So that was essentially how I got into it.
Yeah, and I want to talk about your book because I'm excited about your most recent book, and we're gonna I want to delve deeper into that. But so it's spooky season, which is why we're so excited to have you on talking about these crazy stories on Long Island. And Long Island has its real fair share of these kinds of stories, right?
Yes.
I want you to talk about a couple of stories, but first, what do you think it is about Long Island that makes us so attractive to these kinds of weird stories?
I don't know. I mean, we have so many here. I feel like we're really blessed. Like it's exceptional how the range of urban legends and haunted places that we have here. But I don't know. I've heard some people speculate that it's because we're so close to Plum Island. I don't know. And we also have so much actual history here, and I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and so for our listeners that may not know Plum Island, can you give a little bit about what your interpretation of that is?
So, to be honest, Plum Island is something that I would love to delve into a little bit more. I haven't actually done too much research on Plum Island, but I know it's an experimental lab. They do bio experiments, and it's off the coast of Long Island. It's right off of where Orient Point is, in that area.
Yep.
Yep. And something that people that know about Long Island urban legends, they're probably going to be familiar with the Montauk Monster. And that was it looked like a pig. I think it actually was confirmed to be a raccoon, but it looked like some kind of bio experiment that washed up on the shore of Montauk. And people did speculate that came from Plum Island. So that's personally what I know about Plum Island. I should know more about the actual history, but I don't know too much.
Well, that's your next project, right?
Yeah.
But some of the speculation, I've heard a lot of stories about Plum Island and the animal experiments that go on there, and and kind of how they were trying to preserve it, and it's very, very secretive. So interesting.
Yes.
But you do know a lot about Montauk and Camp Hero, and which is we've talked about before in the podcast, which is the
Stranger Things.
Yeah, the premise for Stranger Things. So tell us about a little bit about that, because you were kind of the expert on that.
So, yes, it's so funny. I went to Camp Hero one day in 2021 with one of my friends, and I was telling her all about the urban legend having to do with the Montauk Project. And that night I went home and I made that initial TikTok that went pretty viral. And I was just not expecting it. It was kind of on accident. But yeah, essentially, upon seeing Stranger Things, I had no idea that it was based on something that supposedly did happen on Long Island. And then I did watch it right when it came out. I loved the first season. And delving into, I guess, researching a little bit more about Stranger Things, I was very intrigued when I found out, it is based on these experiments that supposedly did happen at Montauk Point, at Camp Hero, in like the late 1970s to the mid 1980s. And the story was alleged by Preston Nichols. He was a Long Island man. I think he was like from Brentwood or something. And he was an electrical engineer. And I've watched videos of him. He does seem to have had a lot of technical knowledge. I do think a lot of the story is fabricated, just because it's some of the supposed things that he claimed happened are like very out there, as you could probably tell even if you just watched Stranger Things. His consensus on what he claimed happened there, because he claimed he worked there, was that experiments were done having to do with time travel, mind control, all things having to do with that,
Yeah, it's a crazy story, and I think what I heard was they actually wanted to call Stranger Things the Montauk Project. And the community
Montauk was like, no.
Yeah, they were like, absolutely not. We don't want to be known for that. Yeah. So
because Demigorgons are not real.
Well, as far as we know, I mean, let's be honest. We'll find out what the Pentagon, briefs said later. But I hope it's not real. That's all I can say. But that is it is a creepy but really cool, and something happened there. Definitely something went down there, because there's enough stories around that.
Sure. Yeah.
And I love that you're kind of bringing it to light on your TikTok, which is Weird History Gal on TikTok, and on your Instagram, because it's good for people to know that the history of what's going on there, whether and maybe to delve into it. Maybe someday we'll actually find out.
Yeah, while I was doing my research for one of the longer videos I've made about it on my YouTube channel, I watched this full Montauk tour that Preston Nichols did of the whole base. And one of the things that I actually don't think is out there at all, that I did find very interesting, was that he pointed out in one of the smaller houses on the base were these rooms with like psychedelic wallpaper, and they all had, I don't think I even included this in my video. I really should have. The way he described it was like Timothy Leary, like really psychedelic wallpaper, and he was kind of alluding to that he thought that LSD experiments were done in these rooms. And I don't know why else the wallpaper would be like that on a military base.
Yeah, that's weird. And the location of it is right by the Montauk Lighthouse, and it's one of the most iconic, beautiful pieces of real estate in the world. And it's just so crazy to think that, I wonder what the location played into it. Like you said, the proximity to Plum Island, the proximity to, Montauk is known as the end of the world because it's the very end, and then it's the ocean. It's just really interesting, the location proximity of where that is, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
A lot could go on. But you also you specialize in other weird stories, like the Gold Coast Mansions and
Kings Park Psychiatric Center.
Kings Park and Pilgrim's Rest Psychiatric Centers are so scary. Tell us more about those.
Kings Park, I mean, I've never really been to Pilgrim State. I did make videos on it. I know both are apparently haunted, but Kings Park specifically, I believe it was definitely one of the earliest psychiatric centers that was started, I believe, in the United States, but definitely on Long Island. I know it was built, I believe, in the late 1800s. It actually started, and it started out as a farming community, and the premise was basically that they thought at the time that putting psychiatric patients out in nature working on the farm would help their psychiatric health. And then, gradually it evolved, like through the 1950s, they started doing lobotomies and stuff that, wasn't very ethical. But there's so much history there, and it's sad that it's like in ruin now. But it's supposedly haunted. I've personally never had anything paranormal happened to me there, I would say, but one time I will say, me and my friend were, I don't know how many people have been across the street, but there are, they're not wards, they're buildings where they would do more like surgical stuff, and they're in the same type of condition as the, like Building 93, like all the main buildings. And I actually do think that they're like redeveloping it now and making it a park, like the Nissaquag State Park or something like that. But most of the buildings are in ruin. And we were walking around by one of, I guess, the surgical wards, and there was a courtyard in the middle of the buildings, and we did see these women that looked like they were they looked like straight out of the 1980s, and they had kids with them running around. And I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I was like, oh, I guess these women are just bringing their kids here to play, which is weird because it was like a courtyard with like overgrown like greenery and stuff, in the same condition as you would think, like if you picture Building 93 or something. So afterwards, we both were kind of like, that was really weird. Because again, they were dressed in like clothes that if I was to picture the 1980s, like that was how they were dressed. So that was a little weird. I did go there when I was like a teenager, and I didn't personally experience this, but one of my friends had said that he heard piano music playing. But to be fair, there could have been a piano left in one of
in the area.
Yeah.
I think I've driven through both Kings Park and Pilgrim's Rest fairly regularly.
Right.
Just because they're both main thoroughfares. Like Pilgrim's, Kings Park is you drive through it if you're going from Northport to kind of the Setauket Stony Brook area. And Pilgrim's Rest, there's a major industrial park right there. That's it's the number one way people come and go from their offices. And let me just tell you, if for people that don't know, the people that listen to us from not from Long Island, they're very tall buildings, and they're all red brick, and most of the windows are broken and shattered.
Boarded
There's
up,
graffiti, and it looks like if you've ever seen like what they used to call the Tower of Terror, it looks like multiple Tower of Terrors just in a row. It is. And let me tell you, I have not had necessarily a paranormal experience, but every time I drive through there,
it's creepy.
The energy is weird and bad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, from the experiments that they did during those times, there's a lot of toxic, the ground, there's a lot of toxicity in the soil.
Wow.
And it is.
I think that's why it's left in ruin.
That's why they can't tear it down, because it would cost so much to tear it down. But the other thing I heard, and you might correct me on this, Josie, but I heard that when the state decided to shut down Kings Park in particular, I don't know if the same was Pilgrim's Rest, they decided to shut down their psychiatric because it was losing too much money, or it was too criticized or controversial. They just opened the doors. They just opened the doors and let people out, and then the residents just literally walked out.
Wow.
And are amongst us.
Wow.
And I've read that too, and that some of them stayed there, and like you can imagine what probably happened. Like that must have been horrible. Yeah. And I definitely think that's where some of these supposed hauntings come from. Like, I haven't been to this bar to find out if it's true, but I've heard that at the bar, one of the bars across the street from the psychiatric center, there's I guess you could say an urban legend of like a woman in white going into the bar, and they say that it was a patient.
Yeah. I mean, that is some crazy stuff that happened there. And then if you think about the Gold Coast mansions from the Gatsby era,
right,
and all of the history and drama and things that took place there, and even Amityville, the Amityville house located here. I mean, you have plenty of material here on Long Island for you to...
For your next book.
Yeah, exactly. For you to glean from. But I like the concept of your book that you wrote, and it's called, I want to just make sure I say, Finding Inevra. And I think you describe it as like Stranger Things meets Cinderella.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
So the first book, the broad concept is it's about a group of friends in the present day who are discovering their connections to a lost civilization. But the first book does focus on just one of the friends. Her name is Lucy. She's a 17-year-old clairvoyant girl. She was born that way. And she's kind of grown up with this mental attitude. Like, she's like the black sheep. Like, she feels very jaded and alienated from her peers. So in the very beginning of the book, she comes back in contact with a family that disappeared from her life when she was a kid. And she meets the son in the family who's about the same age as her. She's immediately kind of smitten with him. And she's obviously terrified because of her past to tell him that she's psychic. But then he has a very important family heirloom go missing, and she feels like almost obligated to help him. So it comes down to the stakes of like, do I put myself on the line and admit that I'm psychic so I can help him, or do I, go back into like self-preservation and not help him? That's like the broad premise.
The premise. That sounds great, and it's a young adult, right? It's a science fiction, but also young adult kind of genre, correct?
Yes, yeah, exactly. I will say, so I'm like in the middle of working on the sequel. The books kind of grew up with me, so the second novel, when it does come out, is I think a bit more serious, like more adult. But this one I would 100% say it's like a young adult novel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I love those. My daughters are going to love this book. I mean, I'm going to tell them about it because this is what they read. And then,
But I tell you, I read young adult all the time.
The selection, I read all of those.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about like Twilight and Hunger Games, I mean, these are major. I mean, they're in a young adult genre, but really they're very compelling for all ages. And so we're going to give away one of your books to our listeners, our hot teas. So,
oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah, of course. No, we're excited. And plus, I'm hoping my daughter wins it because I'm sure she's going to want it. And if not, I'll just have to get her one. But it's great to have you as a Long Islander. And we follow your TikToks. And you really share some great, compelling information that is, yes, it's spooky, but it's also based in history.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's kind of sharing exciting stories that intrigue people, but also share the history of Long Island. That's what we love about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, thank you. Absolutely. I love that it kind of it creates connection between people, and I think it's so important to know what's actually happened around the place that you live, and that's essentially why I share these things.
Well, I think it's great because you'd probably be amazed at how many people drive by these historical places. I mean, every single person
any
that
idea.
goes to the Montauk Lighthouse, which is the #1 place, they drive by. You drive right by Camp Hero, and the majority of people have no idea what they're looking at or what took place in that area. So we love what you're doing, Josie. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to give away one of your books to our people, so follow our Instagram and make sure that you follow Josie on Weird History Gal on Instagram and TikTok. So thank you so much.
Yep,
Thanks,
thank
Josie.
you so much. It was lovely talking to you both.
Have a good Halloween.
Okay, you too.
All right,
thank
bye.
you.
Okay, that was really cool, and I actually really want to read her book. So if you want to win one, make sure you're following our Long Island Tea Instagram. We're going to be posting up a free copy of her book that you can win.
And keep your notifications on so you get notified when this post comes up.
Exactly. There are a lot of events that are going on.
Halloween events. That's so cute. So starting Thursday, October 26th, the Great Jack-O-Lantern Blaze we talked about at Old Bethpage Village Restoration. And then Halloween South American Wine Pairing at the Mansion at Glen Cove. So fun.
Yeah. Am I supposed to read some of these? Oh, I don't know. Wild Play is doing their Pumpkin Smash, the 4th annual Pumpkin Smash.
And that's like their closeout event.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
on Saturday? Okay, cool. And then the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is always so fun at the Suffolk Theater and the Suffolk in Riverhead. And at the Catholic Health Amphitheater in Bald Hill is the Haunted Shopping Oktoberfest.
So fun in Farmingville. And then we have Vanderbilt Museum, Mr. Vanderbilt's Spooky Science Lab and Haunted Skies in Centerport. The Aquarium does their Haunted Treehouse in Riverhead, and Cradle of Aviation Spooky Science Night in Garden City.
So that's Friday, and then some of the stuff I was talking about was on Saturday. On Saturday, there's also the Selfie Clubhouse, which is the kids' Halloween party, that place is so chaotic. And it's
adorable.
a great place to take your kids. Hicks Nursery Fall Festival, which is in Westbury. And what?
This is fun. Sunday, October 29th, Long Island Restaurant Week begins. I'm so excited for that.
I'm pumped for that too. And then, what does this say? And then, it goes until November 5th, the restaurant week. All right, cool. There's a lot of stuff to do. Halloween weekend. And then on Tuesday, you just go around and trick or treat. So we're celebrating Halloween. I'm excited. And we're about to leave to go on our staff outing. But before we do, there is so much CelebriTEA.
So much.
Right now.
So much. I think some weeks we struggle with finding some
Yeah, we're like,
CelebriTEA.
what's going on?
Whatever.
I don't know.
But this week it's slammed. Suzanne Summers.
I'm so
Can I
sad.
just tell you?
I love her.
I grew up watching Three's Company. I loved it.
Same.
she looked exactly the same.
Gorgeous,
beautiful woman.
And did you know why she was kicked off Three's Company? What? Did you know this story?
No.
So after like 4 seasons, she was married to a successful businessman. I can't remember her husband. They were together over 50 years. They're the cutest couple ever. But it was like 4 seasons. Three's Company was the #1 show. It was wildly popular.
Yeah.
It's called Three's Company. So it was about the 3 stars.
Yeah.
And she was making $30,000 an episode, and John Ritter was making $150,000 an episode.
Oh my God.
So after 4 seasons, she said, I would like to make the same as John Ritter. I think I should be paid the same as him. And they were super offended by her asking that and ended up writing her off the show, kicking her off. Because she asked for equal pay.
Wow.
Which makes me love Suzanne Summers even more, by the way.
And then she became like the Thigh Master.
Then she made $300 million selling the Thigh Master.
Right?
So take that, Three's Company.
I love Three's Company.
I loved it. I know. And that's what you remember as her.
Yeah.
I mean, John
Kristen
Ritter, they were all great, but really she was the breakout star of that show.
Yeah.
And so she did, and then she went on with Thigh Master, which was
Step by Step. I never
Step by Step.
watched it.
I wasn't. Was that your genre, Alyssa?
Step by TGIF.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah. But she was great, and I loved her, and she fought breast cancer. Still Breast Cancer Awareness Month for 20 years.
Yeah.
And just R.I.P. Suzanne Summers, and thank you for being a trailblazer for women in the workforce. I have to say, I just love her. Also, we just got news. Bert from Rocky passed away. Bert Young, who was Rocky's bestie and a Long Islander.
I can't think of his name. What
was his name in Rocky?
Yeah.
Paulie.
Paulie.
It was Paulie.
I just literally watched all the Rockies with Braden.
His brother-in-law.
Oh, he was
Adrian's brother.
He was Adrian's brother.
Yes. I just watched all these.
Adrian.
Yo, Adrian.
I met him.
Sad.
I met him when
I
I
met him
first
too.
Because we did a trade
he
show.
signed he signed all of our
stuff. He went with us.
Yeah.
He went with Discover Long Island as we did this whole Rocky themed thing at a trade show, and we had Bert Young come and he signed autographs.
Yeah.
He was the nicest, coolest.
Yeah.
I mean, what an icon. And he just passed away at 83. And not to, in no way to belittle those two iconic stars, but Bobby Flay's cat, Nacho, also passed away. Which, Bobby Flay's cat had 100 and something thousand Instagram followers. It made me think of our good friends.
Weatherman.
Yeah.
Weather
Jeff.
too.
With the cat too. But Bobby Flay made Nacho, his cat, super famous, did interviews with him. He wrote his own cookbook. He has his own cat food. Nacho.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing. Who knew?
Crazy.
I know. I mean,
So
listen,
R.I.P.
you get attached to your pets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other big celebrity news, by the way, just announced. Billy Joel is going to celebrate his 75th birthday at Madison Square Garden on May 9th.
I love it.
You can go celebrate Billy Joel's 75th. Get your tickets today. They sell every single concert he does sells out.
Yeah.
Within an hour.
Yeah. He's actually being honored tonight, I think.
Oh, yeah?
In Westbury.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he should be.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Billy Joel, icon, 75 on May 9th. And there's so much celebrity going on.
I mean, Jada.
I can't have another interview
with
another Jada Pinkett Smith. I can't.
Well, so I'm trying to figure out why it's such a big surprise that her and Will were separated for 6 years.
It's so
That's
Howard
not a
Stern
surprise.
did a great entire segment on this, and I can never do this justice the way Howard Stern did, but he was playing her interview with Hoda, which was it's so crazy how all over it's fine. Look, you do you, your relationship is yours. But if you're going to write a book about it, people are allowed to talk about it, in my opinion.
Of course, yeah.
And the fact that she came out with this whole thing, we were separated, we were emotionally divorced, not just separated, but we were spiritually divorced
stop it.
Since 2016. And so then Hoda's asking her, like, and Howard played this clip and it was so funny because Hoda's like, well, you know, do you think there's another great love in your life or Will's life? And she's like, there's no great love. We're each other's great. We're it. We're in a healing journey. We're healing.
I can't.
We're in a healing journey.
Cannot.
And so Hoda's like, wait, so you're not divorced on paper? She's like, there's no on paper. She's like, okay, like, but you're not spiritually divorced anymore? She's like, no, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, what? It's
very wacky.
Follow the bouncing ball. I can't.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's all over the place.
And then, like, I was listening to an interview on Hot 97 the other day, and they were talking about how she was connected with Tupac. I never really put that together. And then how Chris Rock, like, asked her out on a date when they were spiritually divorced.
Here we go. It's so all over the board because she's like, I thought it was a skit, this slap, until our publicist came and I didn't know anything about it. And then yet I was listening to her podcast on Kelly Ripa. I love Kelly Ripa's. And she says, as soon as we saw that Chris Rock was a host, my spidey sense went up and I was nervous. Okay, so then which is it?
Right. Make up your mind.
Howard Stern was so funny. And because Robin was like, does Will Smith know you were spiritually divorced?
Does he have any idea?
Know?
Oh my God.
And the funny thing is Howard said it perfect because she was like, I just don't understand what this is all about.
Right.
Like, you're divorced, you're not divorced, you write a book. And he goes, let me explain it to you. I got, I married Will Smith. We were spiritually divorced. Now we're back together. I wrote a book, Profit.
Yes.
I'm like, right, exactly. So listen, this is, if I were to look at a toxic relationship that you can get yourself into and stay in for longer than you need to, if you're having this much of a difficult time knowing if you're maybe, like, I don't know how good they are for each other.
Right,
just
exactly.
both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them. I don't hang out with them.
Right. We're not friends.
But I would say if I knew somebody that was going back and forth in their relationship for that many years, I would be like, maybe you need to explore other options.
Yes, absolutely.
Just make yourself happy. Jeez, it's exhausting, those two. I can't.
You're like, please don't bring up
and
Jada
she's
Pinkett.
everywhere.
Yeah.
She's everywhere.
And that's because she wrote this book. Like,
why?
Yeah.
Why do we care? Like, what's the relevance?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about it. It's kind of like Taylor and.
Well, they have relevance.
I know, but like,
they're both stars.
Everybody's super obsessed with it. Like, it's unbelievable.
I know. I love it. So now they have like NFL sweatshirts with the NFL logo and it says Taylor's version.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I totally want one.
I can't.
I'm here for it. And they're like the biggest number one Halloween costume.
I'm sure.
Is Taylor and Kelsey.
I'm Barbie.
All
Barbie's
right.
like a number
Barbie,
one.
Barbie. Yeah, you're right. Real quick, there's a ton of other celebrity. We'll have to get to it later. Next week we'll catch up on all our shows that we're watching because there's a lot going on there. So Sharon, there's a new pepper. It's called Pepper X, and it's grown by Ed Curry, founder of Puckerbutt Pepper Company in South Carolina. He also created the Carolina Reaper, which was the record-breaking hottest pepper in 2013. So he already had the record-breaking pepper, the Reaper, Fear the Reaper.
Right.
And now he has Pepper X. It says he cultivated Pepper X on his farm for over 10 years, crossbreeding it with some of the hottest peppers to increase its capsatch content.
I wonder if he's the one who's like tasting it.
I can't imagine, but it's this one is more than 100. It's 100 million more units on the Scoville scale than the Reaper.
That's crazy.
Get it? Why is this necessary in life?
Because people are like crazy, and then it's like I said, I wonder who's tasting it because it's like a health thing.
It's scary. I can't even imagine smelling it.
Yeah.
But anyway, on that note, make sure you tune in, leave us a review. We went way over time, so if you stuck with us, thank you. And buy Josie's book and make sure you follow our socials so you can win it. And we'll see you next week.
Tune in next week.
The Long Island Tea Podcast is brought to you by Discover Long Island. For exclusive access to contests and promotions, follow Long Island Tea Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And for questions, comments, and collaborative inquiries, email spillthetea@discoverlongisland.com.